our 5 lines of defense for self-protection. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Our 5 lines of defense for protecting ourselves, for self-protection or self-defense. These are progressive. So the first line that we're going to talk about, the first thing that you need to do, the first line of defense is respect. So showing others respect, not disrespecting other people, being a decent person, not arguing, not being, angry, not getting angry, not letting others set us off or wanting to argue or anything like that. That doesn't mean you don't stand up for what you say. You just say it and you don't get emotional about it, and you don't take that to a point of disrespect for others. Everybody kind of has the right to their opinion. Whether they're right or whether we're right, we all have the right to have an opinion. And if someone's not willing to learn something new, they're not going to listen to you anyway. So it's there's no reason to be disrespectful. So our first line of defense is to show respect. The second line of defense is our awareness. Being aware of what's going on around us. So we could say this falls into 2 categories: general awareness and situational awareness. Now, general awareness is just always having some buzz of awareness. Don't have your whatever, like listening to music or looking at your phone so much that you ignore what's going on around you. So pay attention to what's going on around you and always have some general awareness. The other would be situational awareness. And all that means is as your situation changes, what you pay attention to changes. So as you're driving, what you pay attention to is different than if you're relaxing in the park, or if you're in an airport, or if you're on a trip somewhere in some area you don't know. What you pay attention to will change depending on your situation. So awareness is our second line of defense. The third line of defense would be distance and de-escalation. So our third line of defense after the first 2 is to maintain distance. Nobody gets close to us. Nobody gets that close to us unless we invite them in. So we should have, typically, unless we're in a crowded area or a really crowded city where we can't help it, or a venue like a concert or something like that, we should have this 3 to 6 foot bubble around us where people can't get that close, because nobody can hit us or do anything to us if they don't get that close. So distance. The other is de-escalation. That, I've heard from one of my instructors, falls into the category of distraction or dissuasion. So things you can do to de-escalate: you could talk to them, you could change the subject, you could distract them with something, or you could try to dissuade them of doing it the soft way by talking to them, or dissuade them the hard way by telling them what will happen if they physically attack you, standing up for yourself. So distance and de-escalation is our third line of defense. The fourth line of defense is physical. Now that can be putting up a boundary, putting our arm up, having a stiff arm between us and them, or something like that, and actually physically defending ourselves if they attack us. That's the fourth line. So a lot of times people think that's the first or second line, but we've got a lot before that. We show respect. We have awareness of what's going on around us, so we don't have to get in a physical situation or physical altercation. And then we maintain distance, and we try to de-escalate or dissuade or distract the attacker. Only when we get to the fourth line of defense are we physically defending ourselves. And then we have the fifth line of defense. This is something that one of my teachers, introduced me to, and I hadn't really thought about it a whole lot before that, but this was years ago. And our fifth line of defense after physically defending ourselves, fall into kind of 3 categories the way I look at it. One is medical. So if you're injured, you need to seek medical attention. Even if you're, defending yourself and you get the better of the situation, you might be injured. You need to take care of yourself. Or, if you were bitten or scratched, you might want to get tested. for certain things that the attacker might have had. So another one is for stress, post-traumatic stress after the incident. If it was a really traumatic attack, you might need to seek some help for post-traumatic stress after that, or a lot of your issues in your life will be, bad things could occur after the fact because of that, your relationships with others or things like that, or traumatic stress, just going out in public even. And the other thing would be the legal ramifications of it. So you got to think about the legal ramifications beforehand, but you might need to think about it after if you do things wrong. Like, the attack from the person has to be imminent before you can do anything, and it has to be appropriate to what level of force that they gave you. So after the fact, you need to think about medical attention, post-traumatic stress, and any potential legal ramifications from the incident. So one more time, real quick. Our 5 levels of defense. Number 1, respect, showing respect. Number 2, awareness. Number 3, keeping distance and de-escalating. Number 4, physically defending ourselves. And number 5, all the things that you need to look at after the fact. All right, I hope you gave that gave you a new perspective on this and something new to think about. Those are your 5 levels of defense. 5 levels of defense for self-protection. All right, thanks. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot.